What's going on, guys? Kevin here from thesportsgeek.com, and in this video I'm going to go over my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 6 picks. Alright, so before we move on to NFL Week 6, let's take a look back at my Week 5 picks from last week's video. You can see I had some solid picks on the left-hand side there. We had Brandon Marshall put up 28 DraftKings points, David Johnson with 36, Jordan Howard with 28, and Delaney Walker with 17. And then we had some bad picks of the week, including my top quarterback for the week. Aaron Rodgers had a disappointing game on Sunday night. He only put up 17 DraftKings points. Quincy Enunwa only put up 9 points, and Zach Ertz was a popular tight end play. He only put up 6.7 points. I also give out extra picks via email on Saturday or Sunday morning with the email updates. If you're not signed up for my email list, make sure you click on that lineup tool link in the YouTube description below to get signed up for that. This week, we also had some more emails, YouTube comments, and tweets from people who did well on DraftKings and FanDuel. So I've got a couple to list here. We had Harley, who won his first GPP. He said, my videos and advice has helped him think differently, and he wanted to say thanks. He included a screenshot of his lineup and then also his winnings, which you can see below. On FanDuel, he won $4,000. That's big. Congrats, Harley. That's a big score, and congrats on your first win. And then we had Solly here. He said he made a few $100 off of just a few bucks, thanks to me and Fantasy Labs. And you can see his screenshot there. He finished 4th and 6th for $150 and $80. And I'm pretty sure this was just a $3 or a $1 contest. So those are big scores there. Congrats to you, Sully Monster. And now we move on to my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 6 picks. Starting off with the quarterback and wide receiver stack, we've got Cam Newton, 8,100 on DraftKings, 8,900 on FanDuel, paired with his number one receiver, Kelvin Benjamin, who's $8,100 on DraftKings as well, and $7,800 on FanDuel. The Panthers are going to be at New Orleans. There's no betting lines out because Cam is still questionable with his concussion, but everything looks like he will be playing. So obviously you want to make sure that he is going to be playing, but it looks like he will be playing. And the Panthers should open up around 3, maybe 3.5 point favorites with a total north of 50 points. I'm expecting a total set maybe 53.5 points. Last year at New Orleans, Cam put up 40.14 DraftKings points, throwing for 331 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Saints rank 30th in yards against per play and 28th in yards against per passing attempt after ranking dead last in both of those categories last year. Benjamin's clear number one receiver in Carolina with 7 or more targets in 4 of his 5 games and 20 or more DraftKings points in 2 of his 3 games when Cam was quarterback for the full game. So I think this stack will be somewhat popular, but there's also a lot of other good options this week. A lot of people will be going back to Roethlisberger. A lot of people will be on the other side of this game with Drew Brees. Just lots of great options out there. So I think Cam Newton might be sitting around 15 to 20% owned, but still a great play in my opinion. My second quarterback wide receiver stack here is going to be more of a value play and a low-owned stack. We've got quarterback Andy Dalton from the Bengals, $5,500 on DraftKings, $7,600 on FanDuel. You can see I've got the star there beside his DraftKings price. He's much cheaper on DraftKings, and that's where I'll be playing him this week. And I'm going to pair him with AJ Green, his number one receiver, who's $8,600 on DraftKings, $8,400 on FanDuel. The Bengals are going to be at New England as 8.5 point underdogs, and we've got a high total of 47 points in this game. The Patriots defense is ranking 13th in yards against per passing attempt, but if you look at who they've faced the Texans, Bills, and Browns the last 3 weeks. So Andy Dalton is definitely a step up from any of those quarterbacks. He actually ranked 8th in quarterbacks for DraftKings points in 2015. And AJ Green has massive upside, which we saw 2 weeks ago when he put up 36 DraftKings points versus the Dolphins, and in week 1 when he put up 39 DraftKings points versus the Jets. So this definitely isn't a stack you want a lot of exposure to, but I'll definitely throw it in a couple lineups, especially in the tournament like the Millie Maker, where you're looking for some lower owned players. My first running back of the week is going to be LeSean McCoy. He's $6,900 on DraftKings and $8,200 on FanDuel. The Bills are at home versus the 49ers, and they have an implied team total of around 26 points. McCoy has played 79% of the snaps for the Bills, which is 3rd in the league for running backs behind Le'Veon Bell and David Johnson. Since a slow start, he has put up 20 or more DraftKings points in 3 straight games, and he's facing the 49ers, whose defense ranks 25th in yards against per rushing attempt. So McCoy is my number one running back for week 6. Moving on to tight end, we've got Jimmy Graham from the Seahawks, $4,900 on DraftKings, $6,900 on FanDuel. The Seahawks are going to be at home versus Atlanta as 6-point favorites with a total set at 45.5 points. Jimmy Graham was eased back into action because of an injury, but the last 2 games before their bye, he had 24 and 20 DraftKings points with 8 and 9 targets in those games. And the Falcons have been a below average team versus tight ends this year, giving up the 6th most yards per game to tight ends. Jimmy Graham has receiver type upside with back-to-back 100-yard games. He's always in play for me in GPPs, and I think the price is right with this matchup against Atlanta at home this week. And then I've got 4 more DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 6 picks here. We're going with another running back, Jamal Charles from the Chiefs, 5,100 on DraftKings, 7,100 on FanDuel. The Chiefs are in Oakland in what should be a high-scoring game with a total set at 47 points. And with Charles, we do need to get confirmation that he's going to be the starting running back. But he says he's 100% healthy, and coming off a bye, I expect him to take back his number 1 role. Before he was injured last year, he was the number 2 fantasy scoring running back behind Devontae Freeman. And he's in a great matchup this week versus the Raiders, who rank 30th in yards against per carry. So I'll definitely have some shares of Charles this week. Another wide receiver pick here is John Brown from the Cardinals. He's $4,500 on DraftKings, $6,600 on FanDuel. And the Cardinals are hosting the Jets on Monday night. So this is a play for the Thursday to Monday contest only. But I will be playing in those contests mainly to get some exposure to John Brown. He's $4,500 this week despite playing 80% of the snaps for Arizona since week 3. And without Carson Palmer last week, he caught just 1 pass, but in the 2 previous games with Palmer at QB, he had 10 and 6 receptions with 16 and 11 targets. And it looks like Palmer should be back for Monday night. Obviously, that's something you want to check on before putting him into your lineups, but it looks like he should be back. The Jets rank last in the NFL in passing yards against per attempt. John Brown is my favorite Thursday to Monday slate play. Another tight end here, we got Charles Clay from the Bills, $2,900 on DraftKings, $5,300 on FanDuel. Clay has been dealing with some injuries this season, but looked good last week versus the Rams, where he caught all 5 of his targets for 73 yards and 12.3 DraftKings points. He has yet to score a touchdown this season, but he has seen 22% of the red zone targets for Buffalo this year, compared to just 10% in 2015. Clay is one of my favorite value plays at tight end here for week 6. And my defense/special teams play here this week is going to be the Texans, $2,900 on DraftKings, $4,400 on FanDuel. The Texans will host the Colts in prime time Sunday as 3.5-point favorites with the total set at 46 points. The Colts rank dead last in sacks allowed, averaging 4 against per game, while the Texans rank 9th in sacks for. The Colts have only faced 1 top defense this year, and that was the Broncos, who put up 22 DraftKings points on defense against the Colts. The Texans rank 7th in NFL in yards against per play and are one of my favorite DST options in Week 6. So that wraps up my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 6 picks. If you guys want to win more money this year at DraftKings or FanDuel, I highly recommend you check out the tools over at Fantasy Labs. I'll leave my link to Fantasy Labs in the YouTube description below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up or like button. It will help support my YouTube channel and let me know that you want me to keep making these videos each week. As always, guys, good luck in your contest this week. Hope you make some money. Cheers. If you don't want to miss out on any videos that I post, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. To do that, just click on this button over here. Or if you want to watch another one of my videos that I think you'll enjoy, click on the video image over here.